All right, very foamy. I'm liking what I'm seeing. This stuff looks good already. You can see it's just not a great way to do this, in my opinion. Okay, much better. That's what I was looking for with the Diablo. Today we're gonna figure out exactly which of these three products is the best at removing brake dust, dirt, and grime from your wheels. One of my least favorite things to do in life is to clean wheels and tires. It just takes way too long. You gotta use your fingers and get in all the little nooks and crannies. Your fingers start cramping up, your forearms get tired. It's just not fun at all. I went out and looked for a few products that might help to remove all this stuff for me. Something that would just make my life easier when washing my vehicles. Today, we're gonna put these three products up against each other. We're gonna test which one works the best and makes my life easier. We have this Diablo Wheel Cleaner by Chemical Guys, about 10 bucks. We have this Sticky Citrus Gel, also by Chemical Guys, 10 bucks. And we have a cheaper route, which is this Wheel and Tire Cleaner by Turtle Wax. And if at any time during this video you get curious about one of these products, I will link all three of them down in the description below. And here are the wheels we're gonna be working on. They are really, really dirty, in dire need of a bath. You can see right here, I took a finger swipe just so you can see how dirty they are. Today, the hope is to get these things sparkling clean. Here are the brushes I plan to use to clean the wheels. You can see this one here is a bit more sleek, able to get in the smaller nooks and crannies. And this one here is a much softer bristled brush for the overall cleaning. I first sprayed off the tires just to remove any of that larger loose debris. And we're gonna start with this Diablo Wheel Cleaner. It says right on the front, removes brake dust fast, spot-free, great for tires and wheels. Reading the directions, it says to rinse off the wheel with water, shake well, spray onto the wheel, agitate, and rinse off. So let's see how this sprays. That's a pretty solid stream there. Not sure if I like that, to be honest. I thought it would be more of a mist, but it's not. It's just a solid stream. So I'll just spray it liberally. So right off the bat, I really don't like the way this comes out of the bottle. I really wish it was more of a misting spray, but it's not. It's more of a solid stream. This makes it incredibly difficult to get a good coverage without using way too much product. You can see it's not really covering a whole lot of the wheel. It's just kind of dripped on there and dripping down. If I go ahead and spray, you can see it's just not a great way to do this, in my opinion. Nonetheless, I'll grab the brush and start the agitation. I'm gonna get the brush wet, and I guess I'll just start to agitate. I'm just letting really the brush and the product do the work. First impression is, well, yeah, this stuff seems to be coming off really, really easily. Well, that's a good sign so far. This stuff seems to be coming off extremely easily and not leaving anything behind. I'm liking that. With barely any work at all, you can see just how clean this is. Even in the corners there, it's pretty clean. I'm liking that. Let's give this thinner brush a try. It's gonna go right into these very small nooks here. And wow, it feels like it's doing a really good job. I guess we'll see here in just a second. It does look like it's doing a good job. Rinse that off a little bit. Wow, that looks very clean in there, and that was barely any time or effort whatsoever. Okay, now that we have everything agitated, it should all just melt off once I start rinsing this wheel. So let's try that out. Okay, looking closely, what I can see is the wheel is pretty clean. However, when I look really close, I can still see some specks of dirt here and there. There's also some right down here and even some right here. Now, overall, that's not too big of a deal. You can see the wheel is mostly clean, but it is gonna take a little more work in those cracks and crevices to get every little speck out of there. And here's what that bucket of water looks like. Terrible. We're gonna replace that. Okay, diving even deeper into this wheel, I can see these little specks are actually not leftover dirt, but looks like they're pits in the clear coat or the paint of this rim. For example, this spot here, trying to scrape it off with my fingernail just isn't working, and that's because that's actually a pit in the paint on this wheel. So that is unfortunate for me, but it's definitely no fault to the cleaner that I use to clean these wheels. That's probably caused by me not cleaning these wheels often enough. So overall, I do have to say that this Diablo cleaner did a fantastic job with cleaning the rim. On to the next cleaner, which is gonna be this Sticky Citrus Gel. Looking closer at the product inside this bottle, it is very gel-like. The bubbles are just kind of sitting there. It almost reminds me of the consistency of hair gel. With the nozzle set to spray, let's see how it sprays. Okay, much better. That's what I was looking for with the Diablo. Wow, very citrusy, cleaner smell, almost like what you'd use to clean your floors. First impressions on spray pattern? Very good. After a few minutes, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. This product is very thick, just like hair gel, and it is definitely sitting there exactly where I sprayed it. It's not running down anywhere. It's not dripping off, and it seems like a very good way to save product and be more efficient. With the whole wheel coated, we can see just how good this sticky citrus is at coating and staying there. The spray pattern was very good and got everywhere I wanted it to get, and it doesn't drip off, it stays. So let's see how this cleans off with a brush. All right, let's go ahead and start the cleaning process. Wow, already I can see that this is coming off super easy. Very, very simple, barely any pressure whatsoever. The brush is doing all the work. Well, I guess I should say the chemical and the brush is doing all the work. I'm switching to the thinner brush to try to get into the tighter nooks and crannies here, and this brush is just awesome. I love it. I'll even use it on these nooks and crannies, all the corners. Wow, that makes this so easy to clean. Getting in all the corners, making sure that everything gets touched here. Okay, the wheel has now been scrubbed down and it is very soapy, so let's rinse it off. All right, seems to be very, very clean. Let's take a closer look. Well, after a good towel dry, we can see this wheel is extremely clean, very impressive. However, diving a bit deeper, we can see there are still some marks left over. And unfortunately, again, for me, this is pitting in the actual finish of the rim, and this indicates that I'm not cleaning my rims soon enough. As for the performance of the sticky citrus, I am extremely pleased. And last but not least, we're gonna try our budget option, which is this wheel and tire cleaner by Turtle Wax. I believe this was about half the price of the other two. Just looking inside the bottle, I can tell this stuff is a lot thinner than the other two also. The front of the bottle says deep cleaning foam eliminates brake dust. New power foam. With the nozzle set to spray, let's start spraying. All right, very foamy. I'm liking what I'm seeing. This stuff looks good already. Wow, very sudsy, very foamy. And look at that. This stuff has really good coverage, though the foam is dripping off, it is rolling off, but let's just hope that it's doing some cleaning action at the same time. Does appear to be cleaning the wheel as it's dripping off, and you can see that evidenced here. And you can see it is pulling some of that dirt off as it runs down, and you can see that color right there on the tire. So first impression is a great spray pattern. Overall, very foamy, but it does seem to be running off fairly quickly. All right, we're scrubbing down the Turtle Wax wheel and tire cleaner, and we're gonna see just how good this stuff works. So far seems to be working pretty dang good. Very little effort on scrubbing, just a very light scrub, nothing too intense at all. We're gonna go ahead and rinse this one off and see just how clean it gets. And so far it's looking mighty nice. There are some weird marks here. Looks like I can just take that off with my finger. I just wanted to quickly show, after a rinse, there is some what looks like dirt and stuff left over, so it's just not fully rinsing off, but I can wipe it off with my finger, which really means that the wheel won't be completely clean unless I use a towel to dry it. It is an extra step that seems like the other ones didn't have to do. And after I tried to buff off that dirt, I eventually re-rinsed it and then dried it again, and then I was able to get all the rest of that dirt off there, which is really interesting because the cleaner seemed to work really well. It just didn't rinse off really well. Okay, so here's my verdict, and if you have a different one, please don't forget to comment down below what you think. Let's start the discussion. Overall, I liked all three of the cleaners. All of them seemed to clean really well. I did not like the spray pattern of the Diablo. I loved the spray pattern of both the Sticky Citrus and the Turtle Wax. However, that Turtle Wax didn't seem to stay on the wheel. It just started to run off. But I did notice it was pulling a lot of that dirt off with it. Again, back to that Sticky Citrus, that stuff had an excellent spray pattern and stayed exactly where I sprayed it. Now, it seems that all of them cleaned really well. And I was using two very specific brushes to agitate all that dirt off. I'm actually kind of curious to see what those brushes would do on their own with just water. So I know this isn't a very scientific test, but it's a test nonetheless. And my pick overall is that Chemical Guys Sticky Citrus. That stuff seemed to perform the best, had the best spray pattern, stayed where I sprayed it, and it cleaned really well. The price was right around $10, $11, something like that. I'll put a link down in the description below for all three of these, but I think if you were on a budget and just wanted something to help you clean your wheels, I think that turtle wax was pretty good. So I went back on that fourth and last wheel and used that Diablo spray. I tried to get a better spray pattern. I had the setting correct on the nozzle and I sprayed it as hard as I could spray. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to do a very good job. Although this time I did get a better pattern than I did the first time, it's still not up to par with that sticky citrus at all. So my final verdict is definitely the Chemical Guys Sticky Citrus. I really like that stuff. I think it's gonna be the most economical when you take into account how efficient it is and you use less of it, even less than the turtle wax. So that's most likely what I will continue to buy. If you have any experience with any of the three of these or all three together like I did, please comment down in the section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, well, consider subscribing, would you? I'm Jimmy with One Road, and I will see you in the next one.